Hey guys, Tim here with Two Feathers Survival. What are we going to talk about today in Two Feathers Survival? Well, we're going to talk about these, going through a structure, more specifically, what is the best way as a solo person, how to go through that door. They're all the same, a door is a door is a door. You have to go through that door, and how are you going to do it safely if you're by yourself in a grid down and total economic collapse? All right guys, well actually, as you saw with the little trailer that I had up before the video, I recorded all of this yesterday, got home, and to my dismay found out that all that great footage that I had gotten from inside the location that we had was all ruined because of this guy here. This is a Tascam DR40 audio recorder. I had it set wrong and all of the audio was just garbage, and that's been one of the complaints on the channel, is the great topics but poor audio quality. So instead of me uploading a video that I just really wasn't happy with, I'm reshooting this now at my home, in my backyard more specifically. So all the techniques are still going to stay the same. It's going to be a little bit more of a condensed video because I lost some great footage. At any rate, we're going to drive on with that. So let me go ahead and put this back away. All right, so doors or structures or whatever it is that you want to think of these things as, they're really all the same if we get right down to it. Doesn't matter if we're inside a long hallway or if we're looking at breaching a building to go into. Now, keep in mind before I get all of the hate comments out there, I'm not teaching you SWAT techniques, I'm not teaching you building entry techniques, I'm not teaching you how to burglarize or break into homes for any act that would be considered illegal or any of that nature. This is truly an informational video, and it is truly meant if this is a grid down total economic collapse where I need to go in here and hopefully find some resources of some sort. So I'm not telling you to go do this, I'm not teaching you to go do anything like that, and this is not an operator course of any stretch of the imagination. This is simply some proven basic techniques. So having said all of that, gotten that out of the way, that's kind of where we're going with this video. All right guys, so where does this come from? Well, kind of the mindset with this was I watched a few episodes, and one of the favorite PlayStation games that I've played recently and really enjoy is The Last of Us. And in The Last of Us, you see a lot of times where the hero character will go and need to go inside a structure to find some sort of resources. If this were truly a total post-economic collapse or whatever collapse or calamity that you can envision in your head, that we need to now go inside a structure, either be it for resources or for shelter purposes or to look for medical supplies or firearms or any of those type of things, this is kind of some of the idea behind this. Now, like I said prior, would it be better to have more than one? Yes. Would this also be a wise decision to make sure that the structure that I've chosen for one thing or another is truly vacant? Yes. So I do want to do some sort of surveillance on that structure prior to ever trying to go in, especially going in by myself. And one of the things that I teach in the law enforcement community is one is none and two is at least one. If it's just me, well then I've got to just go ahead and do this as safely as I can. And that's kind of some of the purpose of what we're going to look at today. Got a couple prop guns here. These are not real firearms. Both of these are just airsoft guns, but they're at least a visual aid for you so we can discuss this. So both of those are plastic guns. They are not capable of firing any rounds. Good training aids to have, especially if you want to practice these type of techniques in and around your own home. All right. So a door. A door is a door is a door. A couple things that we can know immediately about a door. I know which way this door opens already. This is an exterior door. This is the screen door. It opens outside as I pull back from this. So things that I want to look at, where is the handle located and where the hinge is located. If I look at those as I'm making my exterior assessment, I already know which way this door is going to open when I get up here. So as I get up to the door and I want to breach the door, pull this one shut just for a second. Again, I notice that the handle is here to the right side of the interior door, and there are no hinges on the exterior seams. That tells me a little bit of something about this door as well. This is telling me that this door opens to the inside and it's going to go towards the left. most interior doors, or rephrase that, most exterior doors going into the interior open into the structure. Most interior doors will open out. So just kind of some construction points to think of. All right, so first things first, if I had my firearm, whatever that firearm is, and I'm to the door, I don't want to stay here in this doorway long. If it's a door that I can initially kind of breach open or push open, I want to get that door open and just let it breathe for a little while. I'm going to move the camera inside in a second and I'll continue on with this school of thought. What we were talking about in our training class yesterday was 3 places that you could have a gunfight within a structure or leading up to a structure. The first one is the best choice, and that would be inside the hall or just outside of the door threshold. The reason why that's the best choice for me is if I'm out here, at least now I can see, all but this far right-hand corner. If I work back the other way, I can see all but just this left-hand corner there as well. Visually, as I look into the room, I can observe pretty much about 85% of this room and know that there's nobody in there. When you initially push the door and just let it breathe for a second, things that I'm listening for is what you might be hearing now. Fido barking in the background. There's a dog in there that probably tells me that there's probably somebody that's occupying that space. Regardless of the fact, if I have a barking dog, and he's a big dog, so he's got a deep-chested bark, that's something that I don't really want to deal with, so I would move on at this point to a different target. My initial surveillance should have told me what I might expect within this structure. If I didn't plan for that initially, and there it is all of a sudden there, especially if it was in some sort of a survival style situation or a grid or economic collapse situation, well, this dog might be starving in there, and if I go in, he may see me as the meal. Not a good idea to go in at that point. I would move on to a different target. As I continue working this space, I'm just going to leave the door shut now. I think you kind of understand what's going on here. From out here, I can get a good evaluation of what this room may have to offer. All right, so I'm going to show this one more time. As we're out here and I'm working this outside threshold, I can see the majority of this room from just being out here. I haven't had to commit myself to the room. If I then find that I have some sort of resistance inside this building, well, then I'm going to go on to something different. I want to look for something easy. So as I work this doorway around here, I can see the majority of what is inside the room. If I was to take some sort of fire, I would be off enough that I could leave if I want to, and I also have a little bit of cover and concealment by way of the 2x4s in the structure of the building. If you had the benefit of the building that I showed earlier, that building is made out of steel door casings and large concrete block, all of which would be great cover for me because that's going to help stop rounds that are coming out. A drywall and 2x4 stick style construction home that this is, I might not get so lucky with that. So I have to weigh these type of options out. What type of structure it is, what is it that I might gain as a benefit out of that? So the first place that I want you to think about is outside of the door. The next place would be just inside the door casing. All right guys, inside the door is your second place that if you're needing to have, or if you have to have, not that you need to have, some sort of a gunfight as you make approach to a structure within a room, this is a good place to do it. Still have cover and concealment of the construction of the door frame itself. I still have a good visual reference of the room, pretty much 85, almost 90% of it now at this point. Might have this hard corner here and this far hard corner here to my right that I can't really see, but my other senses need to start playing into this. I should have a good audio reference with my ears to know, is there anybody in here? If there is, again, weigh out the other options. So from here, I can do a technique, you either call it a threshold evaluation, Israeli lean, there's a lot of different names for it. From here, again, I don't want to be pressed out with the gun into the room. That just tells somebody over in that far corner that I'm already here. But from here, I can very quickly make leans, and if I encounter resistance, well, then I can transition and do whatever it is that I need to do. And that's off this side. A good point and a good gunfighting tip: if I know I'm going to go to the left, I may know that this right is already clear. Want to go to the left? Well, then I want to make sure that the gun is oriented. So the minute I lean out, I can press out and get that gun right on target. If I know I want to go to the right, even though I'm a right-handed shooter, what I would do is transition the gun to the left hand and be set up for that type of a shot. It goes back to your gunfighting training on the range. I want to make sure that I can do whatever I do with my primary hand or my strong hand works just as well with the left hand or my weak hand, whichever way that you want to think about that. So if I'm going to go to the right, the gun goes to my left hand. Now I can lean straight out, drive that gun right into the corner. It's quicker, and the thing is I don't want to step in to do this. I just want to lean and expose as little of my body as possible. Yes, I got to get the melon out there, but I kind of need to do that anyways. So inside the door is your next best place to have a gunfight as we make approach to a room. Keep in mind, guys, this is for the single person. We're not talking about room clearing, military style techniques here where you've got a squad of guys behind you. And then we'd go back into the two as one and one as none style of a rule. I want to occupy at least 2 to every room that I go into. This is just for you on your own as the solo survivalist in some sort of a world collapse situation. All right, so that's going to move into number 3, which is inside the room. This is my last choice to have a gunfight. All right, guys, so now I'm actually inside the structure or inside the room or the box, however it is that you want to think about all of this. I've done a good evaluation of the outside of the structure. As I've come up to the structure, I've done some sort of surveillance on the structure to make sure that this is not an occupied structure or dwelling or whatever it is. And then I've weighed into the fact that, yes, whatever type of resources that I need or shelter or medical supplies definitely weighs out very high, because now I'm going to go in and potentially get involved in a gun battle with somebody. Not a good place to be in. Those are things that you're going to have to weigh out. So we've looked outside of the door frame. We did a good evaluation inside the door frame. Well, now we can actually come from the door frame and drive into this room. So the thing that you'll notice, I've gone from a door to what is another door. Well, I start the process all over again. Don't just think of step 1 as being outside or inside a hall. It can now be inside a room. Well, now I want to get a good evaluation going on of what the rest of the structure looks like. That then takes me directly to step 2. Threshold evaluation in the door frame, and do some sort of a quick peek, Israeli lean, whatever it is that you want to call it, and do that from that space. As I continue working my way through this structure, I just continually keep re-asking myself those same questions. Number 1, where's the best place to have a gunfight? In the hallway. Where's the next best place? In the door frame. Where's the least favorite place, but a place that I may find myself? Inside the room itself. So if I continually look at the structure as I buy bits and bits and bits of that structure as I'm clearing through it with that simple equation and that simple mindset, well, then that's actually going to take me, the solo guy, a lot farther and better off because of the fact I'm using good sound principles. It's just that one simple step. What's the best place? What's the next best place? What's my least favorite place to have a gunfight? You need to weigh out all those into the equation. Gun handling is something that you're going to want to get to the range. Make sure that you're good with a firearm, that you're proficient with a firearm, that you understand the mechanics of how that firearm needs to work. As I said earlier, this is just a plastic airsoft gun. Point this at a cop and you will definitely probably get killed with that. You very well should be killed with that if I point this and threaten a police officer with this, because it absolutely looks like a real gun. If you're going to do these type of things in and around your property, make sure that you take steps to know that somebody isn't seeing you, because what I just did really probably to a neighbor or a passerby could look like, hey, somebody's breaking into my neighbor's home, and then the police come and now I'm in a bad situation. So as you do your training in and around your own property, make sure that you understand what it is that you're doing. If you need to inform a neighbor or anybody like that, or just do it in true secrecy, well, those are things that you're going to have to weigh into whatever your situation is at your home or your place of business or whatever you've got. That's all the time I've got today, guys. I'm actually going to take this bit of this urban survival series a little bit further. I'll discuss more about what I would do on the outside of an exterior of a structure that I'm looking to occupy for whatever reason that it is, and show you some of the thought process that you should play into that prior to even talking about trying to go through some sort of a doorway. So until next time, guys, look forward to seeing you then. As always, keep your knife sharp, keep your go bag close. Have a great day, guys. See you soon.